EFC 123 set the stage for an exciting middleweight showdown as rising talent Zhane Tannous finally made his long-anticipated professional debut against the gritty veteran Wallace gorilla Okosso. The atmosphere inside the Hex was electric, as fans awaited to see if Tannous could live up to the hype that had surrounded his name since his standout performances on the amateur circuit. Wallace Okosso, fighting out of Cape Town, South Africa, came into the bout with a professional record of 1 win and 4 losses. Standing at 5 feet 9 inches, Okosso may not have had the best record on paper, but his willingness to take on tough fights and his aggressive, come-forward style had earned him respect among fans and fellow fighters. He took this fight on extremely short notice, reportedly just the day before weigh-ins, after Tannous' original opponent withdrew from the card. Okosso's courage to step up when the promotion needed him most did not go unnoticed, and he entered the cage determined to cause an upset. Across the Hex stood Zhane Tannous, a name that had been buzzing around the South African MMA scene for years. Fighting out of Perth, South Africa, and representing a strong team with names from CGA and WSB in his corner, Tannous brought with him the weight of expectations. Standing 6 feet tall and weighing in at 180.2 pounds, he looked every bit the professional athlete fans had waited to see. With a strong amateur background, including appearances in the IMAF World Championships, many viewed him as a future title contender if he could deliver under pressure. When the opening bell rang, the action was immediate. Okosso, true to his nickname Gorilla, charged forward with heavy hooks, looking to disrupt Tannous' rhythm and impose his will early. Tannous, however, remained calm under fire, showing solid defensive awareness and using his reach advantage to establish control. In the clinch, Tannous began landing calculated knees to the body, visibly slowing Okosso down. Okosso attempted a takedown, aiming to change levels and use his wrestling to gain the upper hand, but Tannous demonstrated excellent balance and awareness, stuffing the attempt and reversing with a clean inside trip. With Okosso on his back, Tannous began methodically passing guard, using strong shoulder pressure and forearm control to keep his opponent flat on the mat. From half guard to side control and eventually to full mount, Tannous transitioned with technical precision. Once in mount, the tide turned definitively. Tannous postured up and unleashed a barrage of elbows and punches, mixing his strikes with precision and control. He wasn't throwing wildly. He was picking his shots, aiming around the guard and forcing Okosso to cover up without any ability to escape. The referee, Pavan Ram Kalawan, closely monitored the action as Okosso tried to use the cage for leverage, but his efforts lacked urgency and the strikes continued to pour in. Eventually, after a series of clean, unanswered elbows and punches, the referee had no choice but to step in at 2 minutes and 19 seconds of the very first round, awarding Zhane Tannous a TKO victory in one of the most dominant debut performances in recent EFC history. As the crowd erupted, Tannous rose to his feet with emotion written across his face. His debut had been a long time coming. In the post-fight interview, he was candid and humble, saying that the nerves were real and that no fighter steps into the cage without fear. He credited his team and coaching staff for preparing him mentally and physically, and said that once he secured the mount, everything flowed naturally. He added that the moment he'd been visualizing for years had finally come true. When asked about his plans following the win, Tannous smiled and said he had one thing on his mind: a cold beer and a Burger King meal, before striking from top position, and a killer instinct that separates contenders from journeymen. Against a tough, durable opponent in Okosso, he delivered a clean, professional, and convincing performance. For Okosso, the outcome wasn't what he hoped for, but his willingness to step up on short notice deserves recognition. He took on a dangerous opponent without hesitation and fought with heart, even as the odds stacked against him. Zhane Tannous, on the other hand, has officially arrived. With this victory, he puts the rest of the EFC middleweight division on notice. If his debut is anything to go by, the future looks very bright for the young South African fighter. Fans and matchmakers alike will be eager to see who he faces next and how quickly he can climb the ranks. Tannous has the build, the skills, the mentality, and now the spotlight.